I'm Pam Seatle in Markham. This store is where the dramatic and ultimately safe conclusion of yesterday's Amber Alert occurred after the father and his 5-year-old daughter went into the Super Key here to borrow a phone. The owners had just seen the Amber Alert 10 minutes earlier, and they put two and two together. The pair arrived after 5:30. The dad explained his phone was out of battery and he needed to call his dad to come and get them. Jenny Chang said he seemed a bit nervous but loving towards his little girl, who was happily playing on the floor.
Nothing wrong, just like a little kid.
Not scared, not unhappy.
No.
At one point, Jenny took her to the back to use the bathroom, and that's when the store filled with cops. At about 6, a few minutes after the owner called 911. The little girl was in the washroom.
The daddy said, don't worry, honey, it's okay. Yeah, I think it's good. Right. He loves the girl, yeah.
Good evening. We begin with breaking news tonight. An Amber Alert for this 5-year-old Markham girl.
The Amber Alert was issued after the girl's father took her out of school. Police were called at 3:01. The Amber Alert was sent out 2 hours later. Why so long? York Regional Police says it takes numerous levels of investigation before one can be called, and that takes time.
I can tell you in that time period, we didn't stop investigating. We had every resource at York Regional Police engaged. Amber Alert is just another tool that we were using later on in the investigation, as we found out, to really find where that child was in good health, and that's exactly what we did.
The girl's father was eventually released without being charged. He took to Facebook to defend his actions, saying he would never harm his little girl and often signs her out of school. After many interviews, it was concluded that my daughter was not abducted. Any accusations initially made were made out of spite. The worst possible picture of me was chosen to depict me as a criminal.
Putting up my daughter against my mom, like you didn't tell me.
But the girl's mother told me off camera she had legitimate reason to believe her husband might harm himself or their daughter. She told me he'd been admitted to hospital over the weekend under the Mental Health Act and didn't know that he'd been released. She panicked when she realized he had taken the 5-year-old. She said the Amber Alert accomplished what it is meant to do.
The Amber Alert worked perfectly. Our investigators are working with the evidence that they have at the time, and that's what they were doing. Everyone's working with the best intentions. We believed that that child was in danger. That never stopped happening until the child was located and we had a chance to speak with the father.
There were glitches in the system, though. The OPP manages the Amber Alert system. They issue them and cancel them. But an organization called NAD, the National Alert Aggregation and Dissemination System, handles the technology. We did not receive an answer today when we inquired why some people were still getting the alert late into the night, long after it was supposed to have been canceled. Constable Pattenden added that it's really not that surprising that there are occasional technological glitches simply because the system is used so rarely. While there have been 2 Amber Alerts issued in Ontario so far this year, in all of last year there was only 1. In Aurora, I'm Pam Seatle, City News.